Hey, good morning, everybody. Matt Dolan here with Remax City. Just doing a bit of an end of the year recap, talking about some of the new changes that came out. Of course, you've been seeing me do a lot more videos lately. I'm going to try and keep everybody a little more updated. It's my take on what's going on in the market. So, last week we discussed. I did a 7-minute short video on some of the big changes coming to the Vancouver landscape through David Ebby's NDP government, changing big things on zoning and what we can now build on our lots. Particularly when it comes to even development and 800 meters around SkyTrain stations and all sorts of crazy changes that they made on December 7th. They passed through legislation. So a few more interesting things that are coming down the pipeline for the real estate market. Jerome Powell in the States, of course, head of the Federal Reserve, the biggest bank in the world, came out with some interesting, accommodating stance, saying that he's predicting a three cuts to interest rates in 2024. So that's great news for homeowners. It's great news for people who are looking to buy and get into the market. It makes things definitely a little more affordable if they can start pulling back these rates. And they're doing this because they are now starting to get interest or inflation rates, sorry, under control. We're starting to see in America around 3.14%. And in Canada, we're down to 3%, which is awesome because August, September, we were 3.84%. And we're trying to hit that 2% target. So once we get to these targets, the numbers are trending in the right direction. You've got Jerome Powell, of course, coming out saying they're expecting three interest rate cuts. And then right behind them, ING Financial coming out, and they're predicting 6 interest rate cuts in America. Well, that's a sigh of relief for Canadians because the Bank of Canada, is going to have to kind of follow suit. To follow suit on what the states are doing. So Tiff Macklem came out. He didn't exactly say. He said the writing was it was too early to start talking about policy changes, but he was kind of hinting in the background that if things are easing up, we can start looking at the numbers. Of course, he has to take a bit of this strongman approach to this without going overboard and completely overstimulating the market. If there's one thing we know about the Vancouver market, is that when we get good news, everything goes off the rails. So they're taking a bit of an accommodative stance on interest rates, which is great going into 2024. I don't know exactly when these cuts are going to be. And again, I don't have a crystal ball, but maybe Q2, maybe the spring market, we might start seeing 25 basis points pull back. Of course, we know what's going to happen. We'll talk about what my stance is on what's coming up. So again, Tiff Macklem, he didn't exactly say that the prices or the interest rates were going to be cut. But Deloitte came out basically right after, and they were predicting 3 cuts for 2024 in Canada. So great news there, kind of. Again, inflation rates coming down. We're at about a 3% right now, 3.1% in November, and we're trying to hit that 2% target. So we're trending in the right direction going into 2024. So what is this going to do for the markets? This is a big question. I was out walking my dog last night, saw neighbors. They all wanted my opinion on what's going to happen in the market when this starts happening. And of course, if there's one thing that we know since about 2014, 2013, when I first started investing in real estate, is that we are very emotional based. This is an emotional based market, and we're very, very resilient. The Vancouver market is extremely resilient to bad news. So if you look at like the numbers last year, despite having 18 months of increased and very strong increased interest rates, going from sub 1% now up to, I just refinanced at 5.25%, and that's a good rate. That's a 3-year fixed 5.25. That was a good rate. You're looking at like 5.7 right now, 5.8%. Those are aggressive changes and a huge difference to what your payments are. And you got to remember that majority of Canadians are on fixed rate mortgages, sub 3, some sub 2, sub 1% mortgage rates. So they haven't even felt the pinch. That's over half of mortgage holders are on these fixed rate COVID interest rates that haven't felt the effect yet. So anybody who, like myself, I was always on a variable mortgage. I've just rolled with the punches with our properties, and they're all on variable mortgage. So we've been rolling with punches. So this is great news for people who have been on variable mortgages. And so what is this going to do in the market next year? Well, if there's one thing, again, like I said, if you look at the prices 1 year ago, 18 months of increased interest rates. And if you look at the numbers 1 year ago on houses compared to where they are now, you're still seeing 3, 4, 5, 6% increases despite all of these interest rate hikes. So, I mean, that is just out. That is astonishing that the market is so resilient. But again, it's because half of the Canadians haven't even felt the pinch of these numbers yet. So we're at a bit of a standoff in the market right now. I've got a handful of buyers. I've got a handful of sellers, a handful of buyers. Buyers are sitting back. They're being choosy with what they want to pick. They think that they've got the upper hand. But if you look at the numbers, the sellers know that the numbers haven't really pulled back. They've really only pulled back, if you look over the last 6 months, 1-2%. I mean, it's nothing compared to the 6% they've made over the last year. So that you've got sellers holding out. They don't want to give you a deal. You've got buyers who don't want to buy because they want a deal. So you've got this big standoff on the market, and we're going into 2024. So we've got a bottleneck of people who want to sell. This is the most amount of product we've had on the market since 2021. So you've got a handful of sellers going into 2024. You've got a bottleneck of buyers who've thought that they have the upper hand, and they're trying to make offers on places and lowball places, and they're not getting what they want. So they're just picking and choosing, hoping that interest rates keep going in the direction which is up for them so that they can get what they want. And basically, again, it's a standoff. But as soon as we start seeing good news, and we've now seen, we're seeing Jerome Powell out of the States see this good news, Tiff Macklin talking about, oh, we'll start reviewing some of these numbers. If there's one thing we know about the Vancouver market, is how resilient it is and how much we absolutely love. We love good news. We love good news, and it punches extremely hard. It punches a lot harder than when we get bad news. Again, 18 months, interest rate hikes. Insane numbers. The difference in payments over the last 18 months to variable rate mortgage holders, and yet prices have held consistent, which just means payments are through the roof on these mortgages. So the writing's on the wall, in my opinion. I think we're going to see a very strong 2024. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. And there's one thing that we do know, it's that a lot of analysts get things wrong. The market never seems to do what everybody's predicting it's going to do. But what it does seem to do, just from boots on the ground, general being in it every day, is that when good news comes, it comes really hard. It comes a lot harder than when we get the bad news. That's basically it for me. That might be the last video I do of the year. If it is, I want you all to have a fantastic rest of your year, a great holiday season with your family and friends. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Have a great New Year's, a safe New Year's with your family and friends. And as we head into 2024, if you're looking to work with a realtor who just eats, sleeps, and breathes real estate, everything from the construction of homes to policy changes to just everything about the entire subject, this is what I eat, sleep, and breathe. I'm not here for the fancy photos and the videos that you see other realtors doing. I'm here because I absolutely love the job. So if you want to work with someone like that, give me a shout. I'd love to see if it's a good fit. Until then, have a fantastic day and take care, everybody.